I know I've been away. I'm just trying to get my paper straight, girl. Don't give my shit away. I'm just trying to get my paper straight, girl. I know I've been away. I'm just trying to get my paper straight, girl. Don't give my shit away. I'm just trying to get my paper straight, girl. They just wanna fuck with you, 'cause they know I fuck with you. If I put my trust in you, what will you do? Will you just step out? Would you thug it out? Would you be here to the end? I just wanna know if you my friend. I just wanna know if you pretending. I know I've been away. I'm just trying to get my paper straight, girl. Don't give my shit away. I'm just trying to get my paper straight, girl. I know I've been away. I'm just trying to get my paper straight, girl. Don't give my shit away. I'm just trying to get my paper straight. Baby, 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 baby. Don't let me down. Don't do me wrong, 'cause I ain't got no one at all. This penthouse view ain't as beautiful as you. No, I never have time, but I can make time for you. Oh, I used to tell lies, but I would never lie to you. Shopping spree on my dime, looking all kinds of new. So you know what I like, what would you like to do? Tell me, a 10 of you. I know I've been away. I'm just trying to get my paper straight, girl. Don't give my shit away. I'm just trying to get my paper straight, girl. I know I've been away. I'm just trying to get my paper straight, girl. Don't give my shit away.
What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Merry late Christmas for you guys. Hopefully you guys had a good holiday. Hopefully you got to spend some time with your family. Hopefully you didn't watch a lot of that football that was on yesterday, because it was about as advertised, man. I mean, we talked about it being, a little bit of a bad game where backup quarterbacks was basically everything we were going to be watching, and it was basically that the whole way. I'm noticing for me a little bit of lag on my camera. Maybe it's translating over to the broadcast, maybe it's not. Let me know in the comments down below. It's messing me up a little bit, but like I said, hopefully you guys had a good holiday. It is the last Friday Q&A of the season for us, so we are going to be answering your start sits. We will be going from there. Any questions you may have, waivers, trades, etc. I guess more dynasty trades right now if you don't have a trade deadline, things like that. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We'll go as long as the questions keep rolling in, and I see right now we got a lot of them. Appreciate everybody for being here early. Grizz, Frosty, Insidious, Kevin, Cody, everybody else. Appreciate you guys. Noticed that a lot of people like the music today. That's just kind of the vibe I was in, man. I was in a Brent Faiyaz mood. I was in a Giveon mood too, but I feel like Giveon was going to be a little bit too slow for you folks on the other end. You might not have known what type of stream you were getting into if we played some Giveon today. But look, man, let's hop into these questions. I don't want to waste too much more time and go from there. Frosty with the first one says, hope your Christmas was jolly. Need 2 flex out of Pitts, Burden, Sampson, and Woody. I got London as a reminder. So let's look at these guys right now. We said Pitts, Burden, Sampson, and who was it? And Sampson and Woody. So I'm pulling up all of their matchups right now. Looking at these guys currently, you do have a questionable tag for Luther Burden. You have a questionable tag for Dylan Sampson. I do think Burden's going to play because they did go through today and kind of give us some of the guys who we thought were going to be out. Odunze is not going to play. They did not say the same thing with Burden, so he's probably trending a little bit more positively. But if I'm looking right now at my current rankings, a full PPR type of league, I know you said you already have London. I like Kyle Pitts in this matchup. He's one of my top tight ends on the week right now. He gets to go in that matchup against the Los Angeles Rams where they are plus 7.5 underdogs in this game. So they should be passing the football a lot with a 21-point implied team total. Should be a good time there for Kyle Pitts potentially. And Woody Marks is going to be the other player that I play. It's a little bit of a tougher matchup in week 17 against the Los Angeles Chargers, but still think he should be a guy who can get you double-digit points. More of a wide receiver or a running back 3 play for me in my rankings. But I think I'd lean Woody Marks right now unless we get some real good news about Burden, and then it gets a little bit closer. Maybe you start leaning Burden over Woody, but until we know for certain that Burden is in the lineup, give me Woody Marks. Right now it's going to be Woody and Kyle Pitts for me. If we get that change, I think Pitts and Burden is probably where I go. Excuse my voice a little bit. It feels a little bit raspy right now, but that is what it is. Is Brissett's over Hurts crazy? I don't think it's necessarily crazy. However, I'm looking at my rankings right now, and I do have Jacoby Brissett as my quarterback 8, and I have Jalen Hurts as my quarterback 10. It's going to be a much better matchup for a guy like Brissett who plays Cincinnati on the road in Cincy. They're 29th against the quarterback position. I think you have an argument where you play Jacoby over Jalen Hurts, and I don't think that that's crazy to do so. In the meantime, and I see we just skipped over Frosty accidentally. He has a kicker question as well. Mevis, Boswell, or Pinheiro? I would go with Pinheiro here for me. Should I consider Walker over Henderson this week? Favorite in my championship, and I'm a little afraid of Hendo's workload coming back. I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. Henderson to me is still truly a 50-50 coin flip. Like, I don't even know if he's going to be into the lineup. I do have Ramondre Stevenson ranked a lot higher in my rankings this week because I'm kind of projecting him to be that dude. Kenneth Walker's not a guy that gives you a ton of confidence, but we saw a little bit of a better week last week. It's because of some bigger plays, but I don't think it's a bad idea if you're considering this Walker over Henderson. What's up, Grizz? What's up, Kevin? Appreciate you guys. A-Rod, what's up? He says, what's good, Brody? I'm scared about my lineup decision. You sure you like the double tight ends of Kyle Pitts in the tight end and Fannin in the flex in a non-tight end premium? Already had Bill on the bench. Scared Carter can snap too. Yeah, we got to watch Harold Fannin though, because Harold Fannin just popped up on the injury report with a knee injury. They said today, or not a knee, it's a groin injury. They said he's planning to suit up against the Steelers. It did pop up, kind of a precautionary tweak, something like that. But I still like those two. I think they're both fine plays. Really, I'm looking at my rankings right now with Pitts and Fannin. Pitts is my tight end 2 on the week. Fannin's my tight end 3. So both of these guys are going to be big plays for me. The question about Carter, let's see right here with his matchup. It is a good one for him. Cincinnati on the road, 32nd against the running back position. So yes, I do think this knee injury or groin injury. Sorry, I keep saying knee injury. It's knee for Njoku, I think, and then groin for Fannin. I do think this injury is going to make me change my mind to Pitts and Carter and probably put Fannin on the bench with that one in a low projected game total in that one with a 34.5 point over under. So probably one I am going to switch my opinion with here going into the weekend now that we have that new information about the injury. Kittle situation. I've got Juwan Johnson, Kittle and Tonges. Do I play Juwan or wait it out for the Kittle Tonges news? Slot Tonges in if Kittle doesn't go. I would wait it out. I think Kittle is going to play. That would be my opinion. I think he's probably going to trend towards playing. I'm going to sit on that, and if I don't have Kittle, I will just play Tonges. I like that you have the insurance. Appreciate that one there. Start Pollard, Rico, or Sampson in the flex. This one's tougher because we do have all of these guys, for me at least, kind of low-end options for the most part this week. I have Pollard currently sitting below my running back 24 threshold, so that puts him kind of in RB3 territory. He is my running back 26. Dowdle's my running back 28. And then the other guy, Sampson, is going to be sitting more so even lower than those guys. So I think I'm going to go with Tony Pollard here. It's not great for any of these guys, but I would go Pollard over all of them. Henderson situation. I've got Swift, Mike Evans, and Henderson. I need to start 2 of them, projected as a massive favorite. Which 2 do you go with? Henderson looks like he is playing. That's the thing, man. If you're projected as a favorite right now, I feel like you need some save points. And the save points for me are probably going to be Mike Evans for certain as the safe points. I still lean Hendy over Swift, but with them being banged up in the wide receiver room, you could make an argument for a guy like Swift, who's currently my running back 19. But if Henderson plays, I'm playing Henderson over Swift. That's just my personal choice. I think Swift might be safer than Henderson. Thanks to Gibbs, I've got to shoot for upside. Do you still go Burrow over Josh Allen, and do you still go Zay over Bucky without Lamar? I have Mike Evans and asked on Tuesday's stream. Let's double check, make sure that the rankings haven't switched since then. Burrow over Allen, yes, I still have that. Burrow is my number 1 quarterback on the week right now. As far as the other guys, Zay over Bucky. If Lamar is out now, I'm going to be switching that opinion. I'm going to go with Bucky over Zay. So it would be Bucky and it would be Burrow now. I'm not playing Zay over Bucky with Lamar on the bench. Juwan or Waller? I'm going with Juwan here. That one's pretty easy for me. Saints defense, Packers defense, Browns defense, or the Chargers defense. Right now, I would probably go with... Saints, Packers, Browns, Chargers. I think I'm still going with the Saints. The Saints are my defensive special teams number 8 right now, and they do play Cam Ward and those Titans. I think I'm still going to play the Saints. T-Law or May in a 6-point passing touchdown. That's an interesting question. I think I'm probably going to go with... T-Law over May in the 6-point passing. So give me Trevor Lawrence here. Half PPR, Superflex, tight end premium. Sleeper says I've got an 80% chance to win the championship. Are we rocking with Henderson come back from the concussion? I think you can. I mean, you have an 80% chance, although Sleeper is very aggressive sometimes. It feels like they'll give you like a 99% chance to win, and then you end up losing anyways. I feel like their projections are pretty crazy, but I would still rock with Henderson. I still think you can. I saw we got a super chat here from Wandier. He put $1 in here, so appreciate you, Wandier. I don't see a question here, which is all right, man. And he says thank you. So actually, you know what? There is one question. Well, he said big if. So yeah, that's a big if, I think, overall. So hopefully we were able to answer all your questions. Again, thank you for the super chat, though, and appreciate you for supporting the stream, man. Appreciate it. Where do we go back to? Right here. Kevin says Monungai or Shakir. I'm going to go with Shakir here. Monungai is a player that I really don't have too high in my rankings this week. He's currently is my running back 30. So I have him projected about 11 points. It's about the same that I have a guy like Tajay Spears, a guy like Samaje Perine. So probably going to be going with Shakir here just for the upside. I don't know if Monungai really has too much upside unless there was an injury to Swift, which obviously we can't predict that going into the week. Rolling with Kincaid if Fannin can't go. I don't think that's crazy. Kincaid, though, he's kind of another guy that's been dealing with some injury right now as well. So they kind of both have a little bit of risk. Kevin says, how'd the move go? The move's not done yet, actually. The move is still kind of TBD. For the most part, the movers have come and they've taken all of the boxes from us. They've taken all of the furniture. So I'm sitting in a house where I shit you not, like, I got that lamp back there because I'm going to throw it in the trash on my way out the door. And I have my setup on my desk. Nothing else. You know, my wife and I were sleeping on an air mattress in the bedroom right now. We got laptops and iPads, and that's about what we've been watching. We've turned into iPad kids. We leave on Tuesday. So we actually have like 3 or 4 more days here before we have to leave. And then we'll be over there in Texas. So we haven't gone yet. It's going to go smoothly, though. I know it will. So, you know, just putting that energy out there. But I appreciate you checking in on there, Kevin. What's up, Sports Zone? What's up, Scribbles? Scribbles, I haven't seen you in a while, man. Appreciate you being here. Hope everyone's having a happy holidays as well. And then Ramondre, good flex if Hendo's out. Ramondre's an RB1, in my opinion, if Hendo's out. He's a low-end RB1. Even if Henderson is cleared to go against the Jets in a half PPR flex, do I lean Diggs over him? I don't know, man. Diggs is so boom bust. He'll give you 1 week where they, decide to use him like a wide receiver 1, and then they'll forget that he's on the roster for like 2 more weeks in a row after that. So, I think you can, but I like Henderson. It sounds crazy. I almost like Henderson's floor more than Diggs in a half PPR. I think, honestly, now that I'm thinking through this, Cody, I'm going Henderson over Diggs no matter what. If he's healthy, if he's playing, I'm going Henderson over Diggs. Stevenson legitimately might go for 150 plus rushing yards if Henderson is out. Jets run defense. That's what I'm saying, man. He's a RB1 if he's out. I got both Ramondre and Hendo, and I don't know who to play, or should I play both? You can play both. I would lean Ramondre over Henderson this week, personally. But yes, you can play both. Ideally, though, Frosty, for your scenario, not our scenario as a community, but for your scenario, you kind of just hope that Henderson's out and you can just play Ramondre without the worry. It's between Woody, Bird, and Sampson. I would go, between those ones, I would go Burden and then Woody, depending on the injury of Burden. If Burden plays, you play Burden. If Burden is injured or goes into it with a questionable tag, maybe Woody. But I think Burden has the highest upside. I think this is legitimately, Frosty, I'm sorry, I know I'm flip-flopping back and forth, but I think this is legitimately the question here of floor versus ceiling play. Woody's a floor play. I don't see a massive ceiling game for him in this one against the Chargers. But Burden is the ceiling play. He could have a lower floor where he goes out and gives you like 5 points. But I do think Burden has the 20-point, upside, 25-point upside if things go right in this one. So maybe that's the better answer to your question. I could actually rip McConkey, BTJ, or Shakir from the stack instead of Hendo. I still like Hendo more if he's playing. From those other options, though, I think the one that I like the most, it's probably going to be BTJ. I think BTJ would be the one I like the most this week out of those other options, but I think Henderson's the play if he's healthy. Perfect. Sounds good, man. Thank you. Just the appreciation tip. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Chicago defense or Tennessee defense this week. I currently have Chicago has my defensive special teams 21. Tennessee is 16. So I would play Tennessee over Chicago. I'm going to be honest. I think Brock Purdy's about to be on a tear again. Looks like a man on a mission. He said, or Michael Wilson. I think I like Michael Wilson more than all of them. Michael Wilson right now for me is my wide receiver. Where I think he's right in my high-end wide receiver 2 territory. Low-end wide receiver 2 territory. I have him as wide receiver 22 right now. I think I'd still play him over those wide receiver options. So it's Hendo, and then it's Wilson, and then BTJ in that order. $12 by 11 want to upgrade Ladd as my wide receiver 3. JSN is available. Do you trade Rice, Ladd, and Njoku for JSN or too much? It does seem like a lot. However, Njoku to me is, I'm fine throwing him in at this point because I think the future is a little bit murky with Fannin. I think Fannin's the tight end one moving forward. Ladd and Rice feels like a lot. It feels like you either need to put a worse wide receiver than Rice in there, or you need to put a worse one than Ladd in there. Somebody needs to get a little bit devalued. Like, I almost want to go down from Ladd into that next tier of, like, can you get to like a DJ Moore? Can you get to like a Michael Pittman? Like, could we get to that tier of wide receiver instead? Could we get to maybe Terry McLaurin instead? Like, that's probably where I would be wanting to go. Rice plus that level of wide receiver plus Njoku for JSN. But it feels like you're buying JSN at a real high right now. And yes, he's available, and I would definitely be trying to go get him. But that feels like a lot, especially in a 12 by 11 where depth is a little bit more important. Not everything, but a little bit more important. Max Brosmer led the Vikings to a convincing win. Not looking good for 9 truthers. Yeah, for those 9 truthers, I would be real worried about Max Brosmer throwing for 3 passing yards. I told y'all didn't want to see Max. Everybody was saying Purple Purdy. Everybody was saying this and that. I'm telling y'all didn't want to see him, and it has looked horrifying every time Max Brosmer has taken the field. Somebody, I can't remember. I'm not doing this to pick on nobody. Somebody asked me, should I feel better about Brosmer being the QB1? I said, no way. And yeah, I think we've seen now, no way you should be confident in Brosmer. I have a question about picks, if that's fine. Yeah, no worries, man. I have 3 first-rounders in 26, 2, 3, and 6. What should I do with the wide receivers, or with them? Wide receivers are Ladd, Wilson, DK. Running backs are Bijan, Williams from the Rams, Kyron, Gainwell, main guys on my team. Okay, well, in 2026, you would hope and pray and fingers crossed that number 2 ends up being Jeremiah Love. Because if you can get Jeremiah Love, to me, he's the 101. So if you can get him there at 2, that's a smash pick for you. Bijan, Jeremiah Love, Kyron Williams feels like that's a great running back room for the future. I think you're good there. But you're hoping that it gets there. If not, in your scenario, depending on some of the depth about the team, I'm not opposed to taking 2 and something, or maybe taking 6 and a Kyron Williams. Like, can you take 6 and Kyron and send it to the number 1 manager and then have 1, 2, 3 because you traded away Kyron Williams? With the number 1 pick, you end up getting Jeremiah Love, and then 2 and 3, you get Jordan Tyson and Carnell Tate, or maybe you trade those picks if you don't want them. But I think you probably sit and pick the 2 and 3 for certain. Maybe trade it up so you can get to 1. The 6th overall pick, I would probably be trying to move up or move out of at this point. Don't move out of it right now. Move out of it closer to the draft, but eventually I would be trying to move out of it. Diggs shows up in primetime, a true vet. I had a buddy who said Diggs shows up when he knows he's on TV, which for you is primetime. Yes, whenever he's on primetime, he knows he's got to show up. As a local Texan, welcome to Texas. When you get here home, you enjoy the bipolar weather we have here, 80 on Christmas. Dude, I would love 80 on Christmas right now. So I'm from Las Vegas originally. So I'm from the desert, man. I grew up in 120 degree summers, and my Christmases were also 80 degrees. So, I wasn't too worried about the Texas heat. I know it's going to be a little bit more humid than I'm used to, but right now, I just went out to pick up dinner for me and my wife not too long ago. Slushy, wet, disgusting cold snow, shitty weather, man. Cars slipping and sliding all over the place. That ain't me. I don't want that. I don't like that, and I'm glad I'm not gonna be a part of that no more. But appreciate you for welcoming, man. Thank you. Hey, had Bowers, picked up Fanning. Can I pick up Strange or Pitts? Standard big play bonuses more than 20 and 40, 6-point passing touchdown. Do I play Fanning or do the pickups? Well, here's the thing. I would pick up Pitts over Fannin because Pitts is 1 spot higher in my rankings this week. I would have Pitts over Fannin anyways, and then you have the injury of Fannin. So I would just drop Fannin for Pitts and play Pitts this week. That would be my play. Standard is in no PPR. Yeah, fair enough. Those 49ers look like a problem. My goodness, dude, I'm telling you, there was a period of time where I think I mentioned it on the channel a few different occasions. Probably in the Dynasty Trade Show is probably where I mentioned it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I said that there was a window there on Purdy that felt like there was a pretty good buy window. And man, it looks like that window, if you bought lower, it's looking nice right now because he looks like a man on a mission, man. Pick 2 full PPR, Genty, Bucky, Evans, started Jettas yesterday. Fair enough. I would probably, in this one, I'm going to go with Evans for the first one, and I think I'm going to go with Genty for the second one. I'm going Genty and Evans. I'm going to put Bucky on the bench. What's up, Tingley? Says TGIF for sure. I mean, really, man. To be honest, I'll be honest. I look forward to the weekends, but I work from home, so like the weekends kind of feel like normal days. So, but also I'm glad it's Friday because that means football is just a couple days away, and then the season will be over, man. It'll be ready to go. So at least the fantasy season will be over for most people. If Henderson is good to go, do you think you should play him over Kyron or Evans? PBR already got HN and Chase Brown at running back, and CD McLaurin already played. So it'll be one of my flexes. I like Evans over Henderson. I like Evans over Kyron too. The question for me would really be Kyron or Hendo, and I think I would lean Kyron this week. So I would probably still keep it the way that you have it, Evans and Kyron as the two flexes, because I think that's kind of the question here, right? Like, which two will be the flex? I guess I would rank them. If it's only one flex, I would go Evans and then Kyron and then Hendo in that order. What's up, Fault? Bucky, Neighbors, BTJ, Olave. Would you trade BTJ for Henderson in a Dynasty 12-team Superflex PPR tight end premium? I mean, you have Neighbors and Olave. I'm not opposed to this. I'm not opposed. Yeah, I think you can do it. If you want to get your team a little bit more well-rounded, I think BTJ and Henderson are probably similar valued. I think Henderson and BTJ have similar upside. Yeah, I think I would take Henderson. BTJ, Godwin, or Dowdle, full PPR. I would probably go with, it's not Dowdle. It's between BTJ and Godwin. I think I'm going to go with BTJ. I'm going to play Brian Thomas. That's what I'm going to do. Appreciate you, Tex. Thank you. Imagine losing to Max Brosmer. Imagine being the Lions. Hopefully Johnny Detroit isn't in here. Imagine being the Lions and losing to J.J. McCarthy and Max Brosmer in the same season, and then having Max Brosmer with 3 passing yards be the guy that ends your year. Not ideal. Dan Campbell, you might have needed Ben Johnson, brother. I'm talking shit from a team that's not. Whatever. You kind of answered this last stream, but would you trade the 101 for Cam Ward and Ted McMillan or Ibuka, or would the other never accept? I mean, if you can get Ward and those guys, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to it. I think Jeremiah Love, if I had to look at all of them individually as prospects, T-Mac, Egbuka, Ward, and Jeremiah, I think Jeremiah is the best prospect of all of them. But the 2-for-1 feels nice. If I can get Cam in a super flex plus a T-Mac, I'm all for it. So I'd shoot it over, see what they do. We'll see what happens from there. The streets won't forget the Lions 2023 to 2024 run before they let BJ out the building. Is it crazy to start Waller over Tyler Warren for the championship? I'll be honest, man. I'm not super excited for Darren Waller. He's my tight end 17 on the week right now. Don't think Quinn Ewers and him are going to be guys that are going to be league winners by any means, obviously. And last week we only had 5 targets, 3 yards. I mean, maybe that was against the worst defense against tight ends in the NFL, and he went 5 for 3 for 40 yards. I'm not playing Waller. I'm playing Tyler Warren, man. I dropped Waller this week in one of my leagues where I'm playing for 3rd place. I dropped Waller. I don't need him. Start 2. Tedero, McMillan, Olave, Gainwell, Brees. Want to start Ted, but worried about the Seahawks matchup. Well, I'd play Olave for certain, and then the second one would probably be between T-Mac and... Are we really at the point where we're thinking Gainwell over Brees is like locked in? I think I'm going T-Mac, man, and I'm going Olave. I'm playing those two. Jordan Addison always zooming on and off the field is crazy behavior. Always need to start 3. Christian Watson, Pollard, DJ Moore, Corum, Spears, Keenan Allen. So I'm playing the first 3 that you listed. Watson, Pollard, and Moore. Those are the 3 that I would play. What's the likelihood of Daniel Jones becoming a free agent that the Vikings try to sign him? I would say not likely. I'd say not likely. Because they tried to give him some money in the offseason to keep him as the backup, and he wanted to go at a chance to be the starter. I don't foresee Daniel being a guy where maybe some feelings in the building have changed about JJ McCarthy, I don't think the feelings have changed enough to where they wouldn't say that there's a competition. And Daniel kind of ran from the competition there in Minnesota to go get the guaranteed thing. Although he did get, some competition, he must have felt like A-Rich was easier competition, or maybe the vibe was different. I don't know. But the whole rumor, for the most part, has been that Daniel Jones was offered money. He chose to go to Indianapolis because he felt like he had a better shot of being the starter there. Unless something has drastically changed in Minnesota in the mind of Kevin O'Connell, in the mind of Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, I don't see why he would come back. So I don't know. Losing to the Vikes in all white. The winter whiteouts, man. I had a buddy say that those are some of his favorite uniforms that he's seen in the NFL this year. I like them, but I like those throwback purple ones more that the Vikings wear. Full PPR, need 2, flex, Brian Thomas, DJ Moore, Carter, or Slayton. Okay, so I'm going to go with DJ Moore. I'm going to go with Carter. Those are going to be the 2 for me. Defense, Eagles or Giants. Who's higher for me? I got the Giants defense higher. Give me the Giants. Sanders, Sampson, P. Ryan, Estime, or Algier. I would be going with... Wait, Sanders. What Sanders is this? What Sanders is this? Raheem Sanders? This is Raheem Sanders, right? Sanders. It's got to be Raheem. Raheem Sanders, Dylan Sampson, Samaje Perine, Estime, Algier. I would play Perine. Probably Estime. Those would be the 2 for me. Perine and Estime. Oh, he says pick one. It's Estime for me then. I'm playing Estime. Luther Burden, Jalen Coker, Alec Pierce, pick 2. I'm going with Burden. And I think I'm going to go with Pierce or Coker. I have Pierce higher in my rankings. I'm going to go with Pierce. Give me Pierce and give me Burden. What up from NOLA? What's up, man? It's championship week, and I'm projected to take home my first championship in a dynasty startup 12-team Superflex Start 11 League. Congratulations, man. Hopefully, you actually bring it home, because the projections, like we said, sometimes those can be a little bit fluky. He says a manager who lost in the playoffs due to lack of wide receiver depth is debating trading either Gibbs or Achane. Which would you prefer, and what would you be willing to give up? I have 2 2026 firsts. So this is kind of the easy cop-out question, but I would view Gibbs and Achane fairly similar in my personal rankings. I prefer Gibbs to Achane, but if there is a significant price difference or a decent price difference between the 2 of them, I would be more than happy taking Achane at a cheaper price and then just rocking with Achane. So you have 2 26 firsts. Depending on where those are, it's probably going to require both of them. I'd be willing to go both if you are a running back away. And obviously you said you look like you're about to take the championship home, so you look like you're a team that's probably going to be competitive. I'm okay with it. Give it both 26 first. You'll still have some draft capital in 2027, but you'll have an A-channel. You'll have a Gibbs on your roster right now going into next season. I'd probably go with Gibbs if I could pick, but if you only would do the 2 for A-channel, that's all good for me as well. If Fannin doesn't play, who should I pick up? Otten, Firemuth, or Mayer? Yikes. Probably Mayer. I'd probably go Mayer. Says, yeah, Raheem the backup. Makes sense. Yep. Answer would still stay the same for me, though. Estimate probably the play. Is CD Goff and the 101 crazy for Cam Ward, T-Mac, Jaden Daniels, and a 27 first? The most valuable piece, I'm assuming this is super flex. The most valuable piece for me here would be Jaden Daniels. The second most would be CD, and then the 101 probably shortly after that. So you're going CD in the 101. I don't think it's crazy. Honestly, like you could make an argument here that, you know, Daniels is the most expensive, but the 101 and CD, they could counteract. Goff is probably more valuable than a single 27 first. So is the difference between, you know, CD and the 101, or CD and the 101 and T-Mac and Cam Ward, is that the difference? I don't think it's a crazy offer. I would prefer, I think in this, this one I would prefer the Jaden Daniels, the 27 first, T-Mac, and Cam Ward. But I don't think it's a crazy offer. Cody says, hell of a pull on Raheem Sanders. I could only think of the tight end for the Panthers. Here's my first thought. I thought Jatavian Sanders, and I was like, the whole list is running backs, so it's probably just running backs. And then I thought Miles Sanders, but it wouldn't be Miles Sanders. And then I just kept going. I was like, all right, Quinshon Judkins. Yeah. So it's kind of a crazy pull, but I recognized that the whole list was running back, so it was probably just running back. Insidious says, sorry for all of these questions, just trying to get a feel for how valuable the 101 is. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, don't feel bad about asking any of the questions. I think for me, if I had to put the 101, let's see. If I had to plug the 101 today into a list, it's probably Achane or Jeremiah Love. I'm going Achane. Herbert or Jeremiah Love. I'm probably going Herbert. Caleb Williams or Jeremiah Love. I'll go Caleb. It's probably right now, if you were to think of it in startup value, the 101 for me would probably be like the 24th player off the board, 23rd player off the board, which would be a back-end second, early third rounder in a startup in a 12-man league. That's probably how I'd view it. But I would view the 101 almost exactly how people are viewing Genty. Like, I would view Genty and I would view the 101 the same. I would view probably the 101 and Jackson Dart pretty similar. Like, that's probably where I would be. Projection for Scatterboo in 2026 with Neighbors healthy to open up the field. I hope he ends up being a player that we can count on. Here's the thing with Scatterboo that I'm a little bit nervous about is the coaching staff that was in love with him, just absolutely loved everything that he brought to the building, is no longer there. And the GM who drafted him didn't use a ton of draft capital on him. So while they could still say, hey, we got Scatterboo, no point in going to address the running back position, we got bigger needs, I don't know if they're necessarily tied to him or super loyal to him is maybe what I should say. They're going to use him. I just don't know if he's going to be the running back one type of producer that we saw at the beginning of this year. You also got to think the Giants' schedule is pretty easy. But I think he's going to be an RB2. An RB2 next year. We'll see if he starts slow, though, because of the injury. That's a little bit what I'm worried about. I'm in my championship, in my dynasty league, and my opponent just traded away Tanner McKee. Who? For Taysom Hill. Does that seem like collusion? No, I wouldn't say it seems like collusion. However, this is why I don't do trades in the fantasy playoffs, because bullshit like this happens all the time, right? Here's my only reason where I could make this make sense. And I don't know the teams. I don't know what you got going on. But Tanner McKee, the backup to Jalen Hurts, does he have Jalen Hurts on his fantasy team? Taysom Hill has kind of talked about this being some of his last games. Is Taysom Hill going to retire after this week? You're getting your backup quarterback for your starter in Jalen Hurts for a guy you think might retire? Sure. Should the ask have been way more? Absolutely. This is why you don't trade in the fantasy playoffs. Shit like that. That's the easiest way I can say it. Is it collusion? Probably not. But it probably fucking feels like it. 27 people in the chat, 27 likes. Make it happen. Damn straight make that happen. If I answered your question tonight, make it happen. Packers defense or Tampa's defense? I have Tampa. over Green Bay this week. Also, it's just something that I thought about. Going back to the conversation about why you don't do trades, people are the argument's gonna be like, well, don't you want to be able to make moves and not lose your championship because of something that you couldn't have? Plan for that shit. Plan for that shit. Build a roster for that shit. If you know you're weak at tight end, buy a backup tight end before the trade deadline. If you know you're weak at quarterback, buy it. Plan for that shit. That's all I gotta say. You can't. This is fantasy. We can't predict everything. We can't just keep giving you training wheels for every fucking thing that happens. Sometimes shit happens. As you can tell, I'm passionate about the topic there. How do we feel about the lineup this week? Superflex start 9. Caleb and T-Law, Javonte, Etienne, Kittle, and Olave and Tet in the flex. I think it's a solid team. Caleb and T-Law should be good. Javonte and Etienne, well, Javonte didn't give you the greatest today. He didn't also kill you either. Etienne and Kittle should be solid. Olave is solid. I think it's fine. I think it's a good team. Follow up for the Gibbs Achane convo. I'll have to give up one of my wide receivers again. Which wide receiver would you not offer out of Chase, JSN, Lamb, Rice, London? I also have 227 first as well. I mean, this team's loaded. This team's loaded. If I have to give one of them, I think the answer is Rice. But he would probably be the one wide receiver that I would give. But I'm not giving more than like Rice and a 26 first for one of the one of the running backs. Texans defense versus the Chargers, Seahawks versus the Panthers, or Patriots versus the Jets. As of now, I have the Patriots defense in. I'm mostly stuck between Patriots and Seahawks. If Houston didn't score last week, they'd be at 4. So Texans, Seahawks, Patriots. I currently have the Patriots as number 2 on the week, so I'm going to go with the Patriots here. And it seems like that's what you are kind of deciding between, and you have Patriots already in. So that's what I would do, Ray. If Kittle doesn't play, should I play Strange or Fannin Jr. in standard and wait for Kittle in case, or wait for Kittle, and in case if he can't go, should I play Tonjes? I really want to wait for Kittle and play him, but I don't know. If you want to wait for Kittle, I would wait for Kittle. I've been suggesting people wait for Kittle, and then I would probably have him be the guy. Tonjes is the backup option. So I would wait for Kittle. I'd try and play Kittle. If Kittle doesn't play, I'd just go Tonjes. Joe Burrow or T-Law and Tyler Warren or Dalton Schultz. I would go with Burrow over T-Law and then Warren over Schultz. Is that what I would do? Yeah, I would go Warren over Schultz and I would go Burrow over T-Law. Would you rather start Rico Dowdle or Breece Hall at running back? Both have tough matchups, but I know I have to play one of them half PPR. I'm probably going to go with Breece Hall over Rico. I have Breece as my running back 27 on the week. Rico is my running back 28. So it's not by a lot, but I have Breece over Rico. Which 2 tight ends would you go with? Colby Parkinson, Taysom Hill, Darren Waller, Michael Myers. I'd probably be playing... If I'm shooting for upside, you play Taysom Hill. If I'm not shooting for upside and you just want the safest tight ends to play this week, I think the answers are probably going to be Michael Mayer and... Actually, Michael Mayer is not safe. I'm probably going to go with Taysom Hill as a safe and a upside play, and I'm probably going to play Colby. So give me Colby Parkinson and give me not Michael Mayer. I keep saying that. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to confuse you. Give me Colby Parkinson and Taysom Hill. Those would be the 2 tight ends. Had City and Javonte yesterday. Kind of disappointed. But the guy I'm playing in the ship had Amon-Ra Goff, so we still alive. Anything can happen, man. Anything can happen. If Hendo doesn't play, who should I start in my wide receiver slot or wide receiver running back flex slot? Sharbs, Pollard, Carter, Reed, or Hunter Henry. It's half PPR, half tight end premium. If Hendo doesn't play, it's going to be Michael Carter for me. I'm playing Michael Carter. Appreciate you, kid. We'll see you on Sunday, hopefully. Sunday morning before the games. In a Dynasty League, I have the 104 and the 101 is asking for the 104 in the 2027 and a 2027 first round pick. I have 3 first round picks in 2027. Do I do it? I have the 104 and the 101 is asking for... It depends where you think that 27 first is going to be. if it's a late one or you're projecting it to be late, I'm okay with it, assuming your team is a running back away. However, if you're not a super strong contender, I'm not trying to draft Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love is a draft pick that dynasty managers should make if they are a contending team. If it doesn't look like you're going to contend, I'm just going to keep my picks at the 104 and the 2027 first and keep building. So I think you have to be a strong contender. The value isn't far off. I think the value's fine. It just comes down to whether or not you're a contender or not. Super chat from Cody. Cody says, long-term outlook on Derrick Henry. I'm not super excited about Henry the rest of the way. I think this is a guy who, they're going to have him back on the roster next year. He's going to be a guy that is definitely going to be still used, but I kind of have a feeling the running back 1 days are over. I think we're more of a low volume RB2 at this point in time. I'm nervous about the Ravens in general too, because you have Lamar rumors as well. If Lamar goes and they start to kind of flip this thing around, is the Lamar era over? I don't know. So, for me, Derrick Henry is a player that I'm not super excited about. In Dynasty though, I'll tell you what, the window's closed. You can't really sell Derrick Henry unless you're okay taking a loss on him today. You're going to have to sell him for less than he's probably going to benefit you from playing him in your lineup. But that may be the price of admission to move him. You'd be lucky. I think you'd be lucky to get an early second for Derrick Henry these days. And if somebody's offering me an early second and I'm anything but a top 2 team in my league, I'll take the early second for Derrick Henry and move on. That's probably where I'm at with him. Hopefully that answers everything. Jefferson Sutton only combined for 7, but my opponent has 41 combined from Gibbs, Pickens, Terry, Denver defense, and Aubrey. At least they have Caleb, Swift, Genty, and Pitts left. Yeah, I mean, that's... anything can happen. Championship week, anything can happen. Tonjes or Loveland if Kittle can't go. I'd go Loveland over Tonjes, especially because Rome's not in it. So I'd go Loveland. I have Burrow, CMC, Cook, Kittle, Kyron, Jason Myers, and Patriots defense left. Hoping I win it this year. Thanks for the advice, fam, and hope you had a good Christmas, everybody. I think you got a good chance here with this remaining roster. I think you got a good chance here. And appreciate you. Merry Christmas to you as well. Looks like Burden is in, so go with him. If Burden's in, yes, I like the upside of Burden. PPR, Ladd or Burden. And in another league, PPR wide receiver 2 and flex with Pittman, Evans, Michael Wilson, Jennings, and Watson. So the first question, I'm going Ladd over Burden. The second question, I'm going with Mike Evans and Jawan Jennings as the 2 plays. Frank says, if Hendo doesn't play, should I start Dowdle, Reed, Sampson, Dobbs, PJ Washington, Besh, or Estime? If Hendo doesn't play, you should be shooting for upside. I'd be between Reed and Dowdle. But with Jordan Love not in the lineup this week, I think I would go Dowdle. I'd go Dowdle. The 31-year-old ageless wonder. Yeah, I mean, it's been unprecedented the way that he's aged and played. But I kind of feel like we're seeing it, man. And some people are going to deny it, but I kind of feel like we're seeing the end of Derrick Henry, man. It feels like it shows in flashes right now. But 251 carries this season. That's the 6th most in the NFL. He's the 4th most in rushing yards, 4th most in touchdowns. I get it. I don't know. I feel like he's trending in the wrong direction. The team is trending in the wrong direction. And it does feel like, at least to me a little bit, that it happens in spike opportunities here, right? He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 9 games this year. Yeah, 9 games this year with 75 or less rushing yards. That's not helping you win because he's giving you basically zeros in the receiving department in a PPR league. yes, he's having these spike weeks where he goes 150 and 2 touchdowns against Buffalo at the beginning of the season, or last week, 128 and 2. There's been a lot of weeks here where he's not very good for you. ETN or Gainwell, dude's been on a tear. I'm going to ETN still. Situation in my league, someone got mad. They already eliminated from the playoff, picked up players off a waiver, and he wanted Taysom Hill, but he's complaining about it one day after. Here's my general rule. In a redraft league, not a dynasty. Dynasty is going to be a different scenario. But in a redraft league, if you've been eliminated and you do not have a game, your roster is locked. You can't pick people up. There's no point for you to pick people up. You don't play a game anymore this year. Your season's over. So if you pick somebody up and you don't have a game, fuck that. It's not allowed. Waivers is for the people whose season is still going. Your season is over. So, if that's what it is, if he's not playing in a third place game, he's not playing in a championship game, yeah, you're done. Do you trust starting Jacobs? Also have full PPR, tight end premium, start 3, Downs, Ricky, Waller, Knox, Watson, or Pirine. This is for all the marbles, baby. I don't have a lot of faith in Jacobs, but I'm still playing Jacobs where I have him. I'm just tempering the expectations. I'm hoping he can get me 10, 12 points. That's all I'm wanting from him. Says the guy's in the toilet bowl. Then valid pickup. He still has a game. He's still playing for the toilet bowl. He obviously doesn't want to lose in the toilet bowl. Valid. No issues with this pickup then. Go back to where we were with Bob. He says Downs, Ricky, Waller, Knox, Watson, or Pirine. I'm probably going to play Christian Watson. Probably going to play Downs and Pirine. Or Darren Waller. Maybe Darren Waller, Downs, and Watson. That's probably what I'm doing. Cody says, answered my question perfectly. Big offseason for me with 2 stocks and Henry, first round exit and semis exit. Yeah, it's tough, man. I'm going to be making some hard decisions, I think, this year on Chris McCaffrey, because I kind of held last year through the injury stuff because the value was really depressed, and I felt like had a chance to have a big year. He did have a big year, but, we're going to get into the offseason where older guys are just going to be depreciated in value. So I got to make some decisions on Chris McCaffrey. I'm still a top contender in that league. I'm playing in the third place game right now. I just got upset in the first round. I was the number 1 seed. I got upset, or in the second round. But I'm going to have to make some tough decisions on Chris McCaffrey this offseason. So similar, but obviously, I think CMC's value should be higher than Henry's right now. And that is it, folks. I think that's where we're at. So, yeah, I think we're good, man. It's been 50-something minutes so far. So I'm going to call last call. I'm going to remind you guys, while you guys get those final questions in the chat, once I get caught back up at the bottom of it, we will wrap this stream up. But want to remind you guys, we are going to be going live on Sunday before the games. Per usual, it's like 11:30 a.m. before the 1 p.m. slate, Eastern time, that is. And we'll be talking about your start sits for Sunday. After that, really, there's not going to be much more content coming regarding redraft or, this fantasy football season. It will be officially move day for me, so I will be out of content creation mode for about 2 weeks, and then I'll get everything set up, and then by mid-January we'll be back in the lab making a ton of Dynasty content. And we got a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot to talk about in the Dynasty world right now, so we'll be back for that. But this stream tonight for your start sits, another one on Sunday morning, and then you'll have a video that comes out on Monday. I think that's Monday, maybe it's Tuesday, December 30th. There'll be a video for you. But after that, give me 2 weeks, and then we'll be back in the chat. I see we got a couple more questions, and then we'll get on out of here. Frank says, do you think it's best to keep the 104 in a 2026 draft, or should I trade for a more established player? I need a quarterback, a tight end, and running backs would be my last need. Well, I'll be honest. The 104 in this draft, your best picks, your best player is going to be wide receiver right there. So you're not going to get a quarterback that I think you love. You're not going to get a tight end that I think you love. I think you're looking at wide receiver right there. So while I like the 104 because I think Lemon, I think Tate, and I think Tyson are awesome players, unless you need a wide receiver, I'm okay trading it for a position of need somewhere else. Does T-Mac versus the Seahawks worry you? I wouldn't say really worries me. I have T-Mac right now as my wide receiver 18 in my rankings, so a mid-range wide receiver 2. Let's see. Who would you pick at the 104 and what players would you trade for? It's going to depend on your league on who to trade for. Those players that I named, though, Lemon, Tyson, Tate, those would be the guys that I'm looking at 104. Since we're talking Dynasty, what should I sell Kyron for? I have Corum in a league, and I'm thinking a mid-first is the least I can take. Thoughts on value? I think you're going to have to adjust that probably to a late first. And if you can get a late first, that's probably where you're at with him. If you can get a mid-first, I'm okay selling him for that. I don't think you'll get a mid, though. I don't know if his market's going to be there for that, especially as we're heading into the offseason where picks are going to be a little bit hyped. Is Jeremiah Love worth the hype? I think absolutely. I think he's an equal level of prospect as a guy like Ashton Genty and a guy like Travion Henderson and Marion Hampton. I think he's just as good as all of those guys, if not maybe better than them. Also, LeBron James, best all-around player ever. Insane. Appreciate you, Frank. And Cody says, appreciate you, Andrew. Enjoy your weekend and see you Sunday afternoon, big dog. Appreciate you as well, man. Thank you, everybody, for all the questions tonight. Do me the favor, hit the like button on the way out. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you comment. Make sure you go join the free Discord. You guys know all the good stuff. We'll see you on the next one. See you on Sunday. Till then.